Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mental Wealth Channel. This is a space where if you struggle with any mental health challenge or you know anybody that struggles with a mental health challenge, you're at the right place. Today, we're going to talk about Check the Facts Worksheet. It's an emotional regulation technique used in DBT therapy. And a lot of people with BPD, borderline personality disorder, have found it useful to apply when they are going through an episode. I know in the past, I personally have used it and it has done wonders for me. So I really hope this helps you. And if it does, save it and share it with anybody that might find it useful. So check the facts. What is this? Many emotions and actions are set off by our interpretation of the events and not the events themselves. So when we ask ourselves several questions, then we can see more clearly the big picture, and hopefully that will help us de-escalate from a very high point of anxiety and distress into hopefully a lot lower one. And I do want to say that it is okay to not be perfect. It is okay to still feel uncomfortable in emotions. And the fact that you might be interpreting events in a way that is maybe different from what's actually happening doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you a loser. It just means that you have more struggles than people that don't have these mental health symptoms, and you are not alone. So what happens during a spiral is there is a perceived threat. It creates an emotion. That emotion makes the threat bigger, and then that makes the emotion bigger, and then that emotion makes the threat bigger, and spiral. So that is usually what happens. So what we want to do is to remember that our emotions can have a big impact on our thoughts about events. Okay, so examining our thoughts and checking the facts can help us change our emotions. So how to check the facts? We ask ourselves a few questions, and the first one is, what emotion is the emotion that I want to change? Because sometimes we don't really know exactly what we're feeling. We don't know if it's anger or loneliness or what really is it. So there is on the description a link to find the emotion wheel where you can see clearly all the kinds of emotions there are, and if you see one that you identify with, you can identify that as the emotion that you're feeling that's causing you distress, or the combination of emotions, and you can identify that as the specific situation that you would like to change. The second question we ask ourselves is, what is the event prompting the emotion? Is it a situation that is happening physically in this moment? Or is it me remembering a situation? Or is it a song that triggered something that I remembered from the past? What is it exactly that is prompting this emotion? And this second question requires a bit more, because when we realize what is it that is causing this emotion, we would like to challenge judgments, absolutes, and black and white descriptions. So if you notice yourself saying, this always happens to me, or this never should have been that way, or they are just completely horrible. No, we want to challenge that black and white thinking. The third question we want to ask ourselves is, what are my interpretations, assumptions, and thoughts about the event? And with this question, let's try to think of other possible interpretations. Okay, so what am I assuming here? How am I interpreting this? Can I challenge that a little bit and give yourself the space to assume other possibilities? What other possibilities could be here? Practice looking at all sides of the situation and different points of view. What is this person's point of view? What is that person's point of view? What is this other situation's point of view? And my point of view. So we have all these different perspectives. Next question. Am I assuming a threat? If so, label the threat. Put specific words to that threat. Now assess the probability that the threatening event will really occur. Now, after you assess that probability, test as many different other outcomes as you possibly can. So there is a threat, assess the probability that it will occur, and think about other possibilities that might occur, other than the possibility that came up within you because of the threat. Next question. What is the catastrophe? Now imagine the catastrophe really occurring. Now imagine coping well with the catastrophe if it really occurs. So this catastrophe that we're perceiving, let's say it happens, now see yourself coping well with that situation. The practice is here to cope ahead. If the catastrophe occurs, we can cope ahead. If that happens, we can accept that situation radically. If that happens, how can I problem solve? If that happens, how will I be able to cope? Not if will I be able to cope. If that happens, how, in effect, will I be able to cope? And the final question is to ask yourself if the emotion that you're feeling actually fits the facts. So this is the Check the Facts worksheet. If you are in a spiral or starting to spiral, if you can remember to do this and try it out, see if it helps, then it's something that you can save in your toolbox for whenever you're going through any distress. I hope this was helpful, and stay tuned for the next episode to just do the practice. I won't be explaining too much. We'll just take a couple deep breaths, and I will go through each question, giving time to reflect or write down if you're journaling. It is such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and share if you think anybody might benefit from this. And I'll see you on the next episode.